When you hear the name Pele, what comes to mind? A legend? The king? A god of football? For decades, he was more than just a player. He was the face of the beautiful game, a global icon who transcended sport. But who was the man behind the myth? How did a poor boy from a small town in Brazil become the greatest footballer of all time? Today, we're going to journey back in time to uncover the incredible story of Edson Arantes do Nascimento, the man the world would come to know and love as Pelé. Born in 1940 in Três Coracoes, a small town in Brazil, Pelé's childhood was far from glamorous. His father, Dondinho, was a footballer whose own career was cut short by injury. The family was poor, and young Pelé took on odd jobs, like shining shoes, to help make ends meet. But from a very young age, one thing was clear: he had a gift. He couldn't afford a real football, so he and his friends would play in the streets with a sock stuffed with newspaper or a grapefruit. These humble beginnings didn't just build character. They honed his incredible talent. His control, his balance, his intuitive understanding of the ball's movement. It was all forged on the bumpy, unpredictable streets of Bauru. A local coach, Waldemar de Brito, saw this raw, undeniable talent. He knew he was looking at something special. He took a 15-year-old Pelé for a trial at Santos FC, a major club in Brazil. De Brito famously told the directors, "This boy will be the greatest football player in the world." It was a bold prediction, but one that would prove to be astonishingly accurate. Pelé signed with Santos, and, in his very first game for the senior team, he scored. It was a sign of things to come. At just 16, he became the top scorer in the league. A star wasn't just born, a supernova had been ignited. The world truly met Pelé at the 1958 World Cup in Sweden. He was just 17 years old, a skinny kid nobody outside of Brazil had heard of. He started the tournament on the bench due to an injury, but when he got his chance, he seized it with breathtaking brilliance. He scored the winning goal against Wales in the quarterfinal, a stunning hat-trick against France in the semifinal, and two incredible goals in the final against the host nation, Sweden. One of those final goals is legendary. He flicked the ball over a defender's head and volleyed it into the net. Brazil won its first ever World Cup, and a 17-year-old Pelé was carried off the pitch in tears, a national hero and a global superstar overnight. For the next decade and a half, Pelé's career was a blur of goals, trophies, and jaw-dropping moments of magic. With Santos, he won everything there was to win, including multiple league titles and two Copa Libertadores championships, South America's biggest club prize. Santos became a touring sensation, playing exhibition matches all over the world, not just to showcase their talent, but because everyone wanted to see the king play. In some places, like war-torn Nigeria in 1969, a 48-hour ceasefire was reportedly called just so people could watch Pelé and his Santos team play. That's not just stardom, that's influence. That's power. He wasn't just a footballer. He was an ambassador for peace and joy. His World Cup story continued, though it wasn't always a fairy tale. In 1962, he was injured early in the tournament, but his Brazilian teammates, led by the brilliant Garrincha, still managed to win the cup. The 1966 tournament was brutal. Defenders targeted him relentlessly, and a series of vicious fouls saw him injured and Brazil knocked out early. Pelé was so disillusioned, he vowed never to play in a World Cup again. But thankfully for the world, he changed his mind. He returned for one last dance in 1970. The tournament in Mexico was the first to be broadcast in color, and it was the perfect stage for the dazzling yellow shirts of Brazil. This wasn't the teenage prodigy of 58. This was the mature, intelligent, complete player. Pelé was the conductor of what many consider the greatest football team ever assembled. He scored, he assisted, and he created moments of pure genius that didn't even result in goals, like the dummy against Uruguay or the audacious shot from the halfway line against Czechoslovakia. In the final against Italy, he scored the opening goal, a towering header, and led Brazil to a 4-1 victory. Winning his third World Cup cemented his status as the undisputed king of football. But Pelé's impact goes far beyond the numbers, and the numbers are staggering. Over 1,000 career goals, a record that remains a testament to his incredible consistency and skill. What truly set him apart was how he played the game. He combined raw power with delicate grace. He was two-footed, brilliant in the air, and had a vision that seemed to see the game in slow motion. He popularized the bicycle kick and perfected feints and moves that are still copied by players today. He transformed the number 10 shirt from just a number into a symbol of the ultimate playmaker, the heart and soul of the team. He made football an art form. He called it O Jogo Bonito, the beautiful game, and no one played it more beautifully than he did. After retiring from Brazilian football, he did something unexpected. In 1975, he came out of retirement to sign for the New York Cosmos in the North American Soccer League. At the time, football, or soccer as it's called there, was a minor sport in the United States. Pelé changed that. His arrival was a sensation. Crowds flocked to see him play. He brought a level of excitement and media attention the sport had never seen in America. He played alongside other legends like Franz Beckenbauer and Carlos Alberto, and together, they created a cultural phenomenon. Pelé's time in New York helped plant the seeds for soccer's growth in the U.S., a legacy that continues to blossom today. After finally hanging up his boots for good in 1977, Pelé didn't just fade away. He became a global ambassador for football, for sport, and for humanitarian causes. He worked with organizations like UNICEF, served as Brazil's Minister for Sport, and used his fame to champion education and fight poverty. He understood that his name carried weight, and he used it to try and make the world a better place. He was a symbol of hope, a living example that a poor boy from a small town could, through talent and hard work, conquer the world. So when we ask, who was Pelé? The answer is complex. He was the record-breaking goal scorer, the three-time World Cup winner, the inventor of the beautiful game. But he was also Edson, the boy who played with a grapefruit, the global ambassador who called for a ceasefire, the man who brought a nation to its feet and a sport to a new continent. He changed not just how football was played, but how it was perceived. He made it more than a game. He made it a source of global joy and unity. The king may have left us, but his kingdom, the beautiful game he built, will last forever. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this look into the life of a true legend, please hit that like button, subscribe for more stories, and let me know in the comments who your favorite footballing icon is. See you in the next one.